Yay! It's time for chapters 15 through 19 of The Fault in Our Stars. So, as we open up chapter 15, Gus and Hazel are adorable, even though they're both kind of dying. Gus has to go to the ER for chest pain, which sucks, but it's also very expected because he has cancer. And these things are going to happen when you have cancer. The last paragraph of chapter 15, I'm going to read it. 2 weeks later, I wheeled Gus across the art park toward the Funky Bones with one entire bottle of very expensive champagne in my oxygen tank in his lap. The champagne had been donated by one of Gus's doctors, Gus being the kind of person who inspires doctors to give their best bottles of champagne to children. We sat, Gus in his chair and me on the damp grass, as near to Funky Bones as we could get him in the chair. I pointed at the little kids goading each other to jump from ribcage to shoulder, and Gus answered just loud enough for me to hear over the din. Last time I imagined myself as the kid. This time the skeleton. We drank from paper Winnie the Pooh cups. I really like that paragraph. I think it's really interesting because the whole story is showing how they have cancer as teenagers, and so they have to be adults sometimes, and so they're in this in-between stage between childhood and adulthood that really just encompasses what that's talking about. They have champagne, which is super fancy and adulty, but they're drinking out of Winnie the Pooh cups. It's really sad because Gus is thinking of himself as the skeleton because he knows he's going to die. Chapter 16, late stage Gus. You can quote me on this. Really fucking sad chapter, okay? It's in my notes. So Gus and Hazel are hanging out and they're being a couple, and it should be normal and cute and adorable because they're taking a nap together and playing video games. It should be normal, but it's not because Gus's parents are always watching them, and they know under the guise of normalcy that Gus is dying and he's going to die, and one day he's not going to be there. At one point at the end of chapter 16, Hazel says, "It's hard as hell to hold on to your dignity when the sun is too bright and you're losing eyes." I know that's from a poem. I'm not sure what poem it is, but I like it. All Augustus wants to do is die with his dignity. He wants to die this heroic death, his name in all the newspapers, have his dignity with him as he dies. But cancer just strips your dignity from you, so he can't have that, which is why he dies all these heroic deaths in video games. Chapter 17, even fucking sadder. Notes. When chapter 15 starts, Hazel is now calling Augustus Gus. Gus finally picks up on this and he says, "You used to call me Augustus." This line makes me so sad that I made an entire video about it on my main channel, so I will link that if you want to watch it. Chapter 18 starts and Gus calls at 2 a.m. and she's really scared because why would his phone be calling her at 2 a.m. But he didn't die. He's alive. He calls from a rest stop gas station place because he went to go get cigarettes because his were lost or they took them away, and he just wants to go get more because he can't do anything else by himself. He just wants to be able to do this one little thing. He wants to be able to get cigarettes, to not smoke. He can't do anything else by himself. He can't even do this because now his G-tube is messed up, bleeding, and he's freaking out, and he doesn't want Hazel to call the ambulance or his parents, so she needs to go and fix his G-tube. At the beginning of the book, he said that the pack of cigarettes would probably be able to last him to his 18th birthday, which, in retrospect now, is really sad because he's probably not even going to make it to his 18th birthday. She calls the ambulance because she can't do anything, and he's losing consciousness, and he asks her to recite a poem. She recites the red wheelbarrow to him as he's losing consciousness, and then she says, "And so much depends, I told Augustus, upon a blue sky cut open by the branches of the trees above. So much depends upon the transparent G-tube erupting from the gut of the blue-lipped boy. So much depends upon this observer of the universe." Half conscious, he glanced over at me and mumbled, "And you say you don't write poetry." Even as he's dying, he's still the most romantic, adorable person ever. There's a bullet point here. It just says, "Fuck." Scholarly notes. Chapter 19. Gus is permanently in a hospital bed upstairs in his house because he can't get downstairs, and that's just really terrible. Hazel comes over one day and his sisters are over with their husbands and kids. His sisters are being all sentimental and being like, "Oh, our Gussie, our little Gussie." They're being all mushy and frankly kind of annoying, and that's not to disparage the importance of family or anything, but I understand Hazel's annoyance at them. Family loves you unconditionally. Even if they don't like you, they love you because you're family and that's what you do. When a family member dies, just totally romanticize their life and forget about everything bad that that person ever did. They had this great life, and they did all these amazing things, and they were a wonderful person, and they never did anything bad in the family member's mind. It's kind of what Hazel's getting at the very end of the book when she says the funerals are for the living. Also, Kenzie didn't talk about this one part of her segment, and so I wanted to. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The hierarchy of needs looks looks like this. It says that there are levels to life, and once you get past one level, you can move to the next and the next and the next. Second level is security. Neither Gus nor Hazel has security. They are both dying, so they really don't have security at all. Technically, according to this pyramid, they should not be able technically to experience belonging, love, family, self-worth, accomplishment, self-aware personal growth, all that stuff. They should not be able to experience it. But clearly, they prove it wrong. They love each other so much, so much. Even as Gus is dying, he loves Hazel and she loves him too. Just that alone, it just totally disregards the pyramid. Throughout the entire story, they think of the world complexly and as a metaphor. They are above a lot of adults. The hierarchy of needs is nullified. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Next time, Kenzie will be talking about chapters 20 to 22. Let's try not to cry. See you next time.